Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore, and today we are discussing two planetary combinations, that is, when two planets are together in quadrants, that is, Kendras. Today we have arrived at Mars and Saturn, one of the toughest and very difficult to understand this position of or this combination. A tough combination to understand and also interpret. So let us understand what this combination gives when they are in the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th houses in a horoscope, and what it gives to the native. So we both know that these both have abstract qualities. One is very aggressive, and the other one is extremely, slow and stable. So the first house, when it is in the first house, these people will be very courageous, will have to practice good living. That is, they need to know how to live time to time. That is, they need to respect the time, they need to respect the other person's time also. This is somewhere they get carried away, that they think that they are more important, the other person is not. So when the mutual respect fails, then the trust fails. This is very important for these people. So good living, as Saturn, the lord of longevity, is with Mars. So the lord of longevity, that is, Saturn is the signifier of longevity, ayusthana adipati, or we call it as, sorry, ayukharaka, that is the signifier for longevity. And when it is placed in the first house, because Mars aspects the eighth house, it affects the eighth house and it afflicts the eighth house. So both placed as enemies together in the first house may cause difficulties in longevity. So this combination is tough on its aspect. So generally speaking, for all the four placements, the first, fourth, seventh, 10, or whether it is placed in the second, third, fifth, sixth, and the ninth and the 11th or 12th houses, which I have not covered in this. Even for that, when this particular combination is placed, the placement is okay. The house where these two fellows are placed is okay, handleable, manageable. But the aspects of both Saturn and Mars has to be scrutinized correctly and understood, because it is not a good aspect. So what I have written here is, this combination is tough on its aspect. Mars aspects the fourth, seventh, and eighth. Saturn aspects the third, seventh, and 10th from itself. All these positions get into trouble or get into some kind of a difficulty. So for the fourth house, third house, it is communication and siblings also. Fourth house is for mother. Seventh house, married life, except for business. I am talking here, not getting into the part of business, because Saturn and Mars give extraordinary business acumen for the person when it is sitting in the Lagna. Eighth house for longevity and 10th house for professional life. So these problems maybe because of attitude, or maybe because of how the native handles every situation. Very important this is. So what is the remedy, sir, for this? Meditation and yoga is like a daily dose of medicine. Please try to understand, it is not that you do it today and tomorrow you will be fine. No, you need to keep it as a sustainable mental stability program. So you need to keep it for every day. It's a daily dose. Get up in the morning, do the Surya Namaskars, pray to the sun god, because that is the one who controls these two fellows. So sun controls these two fellows. So the remedy is to the sun god. So should avoid rampant and panic decision making in investments in particular. So let us go through the aspects. I'll just take one example in the South Indian chart, one example in the North Indian chart, so that you people will understand. So let me take one simple placement. Anyway, I take some tough placements only when I have tough combinations on hand. So this is a debilitated Mars, and this is a Saturn, which is a very uncomfortable in Jala Rashi, that is watery sign, and it is the sign of Cancer, and it is a Chara Rashi. Chara Rashi is a movable sign. Mars is okay with a movable sign, but Saturn is not okay with a movable sign. I have taken a tough combination here, but with all that, with all that, for this ascendant, keeping this as the first house, Mars becomes the Yoga Karaka, the fifth and the 10th Lord. Fantastic placement of Mars here. Though it is debilitated, Mars is considered positive and it is maybe weak a little bit, but it is considered good. And Saturn being the seventh and the eighth lord, obviously it is not considered great in this particular placement. So I have taken this placement not for understanding the Lagna. Lagna, I have already told you what it is. So these fellows from here, Saturn aspects here, let me write the aspect in a small way. Saturn aspects here, this is the third house from Karkataka Rashi, that is Cancer. 1, 2, 3. Mars aspects the fourth, right? And Saturn aspects, Mars aspects the seventh, and Saturn also aspects the seventh. So Mars and Saturn both aspect the seventh house. Mars aspects the eighth house. Mars does not aspect anything anymore. So its fourth, seventh, and eighth has finished. Saturn is the only one which aspects the 10th. So you can see, you should be amazed to understand that Mars here is aspecting both the houses of Saturn. Saturn here is aspecting the house of Mars. And the house of communication and the house of Sukhasthana is being disturbed because of this particular placement aspect of Saturn and Mars. So this is how you should understand the aspect and understand where all it is afflicting. So the degree of the placement of Mars and Saturn in its conjunction is very important. And if it is between, let us say, 3 to 10 degrees from each other, it's a very strong combination. So it is taken as a good conjunction. So going to the fourth house, which is the second Kendra, which is also called as the Sukhasthana or Matrusthana, many other names for that particular placement. Both planets together can make the native feel dissatisfied. So now let us understand. So if I had taken this as the first house, this would have been the third, fourth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, 10th house. So let us take this as the fourth house itself. So let me take this as ascendant now. Just giving you the second example. Nothing is shifting, everything is the same. The aspects will never shift, it is there only. So now this is in the fourth house. So where all it is aspecting? It is aspecting the sixth house. Saturn aspect in the sixth house is good. Mars aspecting the seventh house, not good. So let us go to this. Mars and Saturn both aspecting the 10th house. One way it is good, but the other way it is now sitting opposite to the 10th house, which is not good. So we need to critically analyze the chart. Advanced analysis is required for aspect of conjunctions. It is not an easy thing. So, and again it is aspect in the 11th and the ascendant itself, Saturn. So, what actually might happen? So, let us go through the results. So, both planets, as I said, might feel dissatisfied when it is in the ascendant. As the fourth house signifies vehicles, it should be clear that one should show caution while riding or driving bikes or four-wheeled vehicles. A transferable job or a constant movement is seen. So, how is that seen? Let us go to this point. A transferable job is seen because they affect the seventh house, both of them, and they also affect the ascendant mutually. So, transferable job is also seen because the 10th house is also affected and they are sitting opposite to the 10th house. Obviously, it will affect. So,
also there will be friction between the superior and the
yeah, this is also to be understood that there will be some unnecessary friction between the higher ups, the immediate boss, and the native himself, or even with his subordinates, because he might not tolerate insubordination and it might happen. So we'll have to see, the next point is that he will have to explore places with less facilities in job, particularly with regard to food. So a staunch practicer of vegetarianism, if he goes to some places, it is extremely difficult for him to find a good place to eat. So there might be some difficulties that this person might go through. Less friends as the combination aspects the 11th house from the 4th. This is also one very important. I'm explaining all these combinations one by one. So 11th house is the one which represents friends or close associates who will have mutual understanding between each other, and that is because of the eighth aspect of Mars. Again, here the 6th, 7th, 10th, 11th, and ascendant are affected because of the aspects. Minor fractures are okay, they can be recovered, but these people have to maintain extremely important is that their blood health. They have to be very careful with regard to their blood health. Why? Because both this combination, Mars and Saturn, they have a lot of friction. Mars is a signifier for blood, and when it is sitting in the fourth house, it is very important to understand that it becomes the 11th from the sixth house, which is the Rogasthana, and Saturn is aspecting the sixth house. See, from here it is aspecting the sixth. This is the sixth house for this ascendant. Just giving you an example. So let us go to the seventh house. Very practical and logical with business and strong interpersonal skills, as this is the fifth from the third house. Brave to conquer new challenges in job. So let me take an example from the North Indian chart. I'll just take an example from the North Indian chart. Take some, I'll take Mithun Rashi. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm talking about the seventh house, which falls here in Sagittarius. So we have Mars and Saturn both in the seventh house. So then we have the 10th Rashi, the 11th, the 12th, the first and the second. Okay, they are very brave to conquer new challenges in job, marketing, and establishing new companies and franchise is very easy for them, and they are made for that. So these people are tough, and they are they don't bother with regard to what facilities and what type of situation they are going through. They are very tough. They march ahead, they surge ahead to get their project done. So it is very tough on married life. As you know, it is sitting exactly in the seventh house itself. Directly the position itself is sitting on the seventh house. But tough in married life only if the bhava bala, that is the strength of the seventh house, is weak, and the seventh signifier for the seventh house and the seventh lord. Signifier for the seventh house can be taken as both Venus and Jupiter in different cases, like the male and the female. But still, I will take Venus as the signifier for the seventh house. With that, the placement of the seventh lord is also very important. So relationship with children is disrupted due to situations. Here I have very clearly used the word disrupted. That is that there might be some distance because of hostel, there might be some distance because of marriage. So that relationship is not that there will be bad relationship with children. There might be difficulties. So let us say why it is. So from here, Mars aspects the eighth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Mars is aspecting the second house from the ascendant, which is Kutumbasthana. Saturn is aspecting 1, 2, 3. So the 11th, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is 1, 2, 3, 4th house. So this is also aspecting a tough position. Mars is aspecting the seventh and the fourth. So that is why you can see that people like challenges. The 12th and the 6th are very strong here because of these negative placements. But anyway, the aspect of Saturn and Mars over the 6th and the 12th is good in one way, that these people would want to explore and keep conquering. Sorry, this fourth and the 10th house. Fourth and the 10th house is good because they would want to move around. The fourth house is for the residence. That is this sthana where you sit. or where your house is. So again, there it is afflicted. But sometimes, people don't want to stick to the same place. They want movement. So in that way, people who want movement, like marketing job and all those things, that it is great. And here again, the 12th house, going abroad, settling down abroad.
Yes.
It's not the 12th house, sorry, 10th house. I am getting locked up with that Rashi. So it is the 10th house, and 10th house is great for them because they want that movement in the job. So going abroad, coming back, so regular movement is also seen. So sorry for confusing. I get confused in the North Indian chart because the Rashi moves along with the Lagna, because the Lagna is fixed here always. So the Lagna is that the Rashi itself is fixed here. Here the Rashis are all in one place only. So they only the houses move around here. So I got used to this. So that is why. So whatever it is, so this is the example what I am talking about. So the next problem is that they start comparing their level with others and fall into depression if the ascendant lord is weak, or the ascendant is weak, or go into anger or frustration if the ascendant lord is very strong. So that is a problem. So then these people have to have control over communication in job when personal matters are discussed. So when they are having interpersonal skills, as I said earlier, that is with regard to regular job. Their communication with regard to training, development, imparting training, knowledge transfer, it's great. But when it comes to tackling personal matters with colleagues, they fail here because they don't like that. They don't like gossiping and all those things. And when it comes there, and then they get into difficulties, and they get involved into unnecessary arguments because of unwanted talk, because they might talk something and they might get into problems. And why they might talk something and get into problems? Because Mars is aspecting the second house, the house of Vani, that is Vaksthana. So
Both Lagna and second.
both Lagna and second house, Lagna, both of them are aspecting Saturn and Mars. So they might unnecessarily insult someone and get into problems. So let us go to the 10th house, a very, very tough position in the 10th house. It gives mixed results. Good, yes, it gives excellent good results also. And when it is tough, it gives very tough results. So the position is both good and bad. Lot of opportunities to work or in work with the government projects, but in the same time might get involved in practices which may be questioned and also subjected to inquiry due to mismanagement, etc. So what they should do should be doubly careful not to get involved into any malpractice. Be very careful. Unnecessarily getting involved into something, they will tell, it's okay, you join us, we will do this, we will have a good profit. Getting involved there, you might get yourself into a huge tension. And to keep or earn someone's trust. So to earn someone's trust, your honesty is the best policy. So it's not easy. So honesty is a good practice that has to be followed. So they have to follow honesty with everybody whom they would wish to have trust with, or else trust will fail. It will fail immediately. So here, Mars and Saturn in the 10th might become difficult as the aspects are there. As I said, there are a lot of aspects. So I have not put the 10th house aspects here. So it does aspect the ascendant, because, from the 10th house, Saturn aspects the ascendant, the 10th aspect. I think, right? No. Mars aspects the ascendant with its fourth aspect. Saturn aspects the 12th house. Mars and Saturn both aspect the fourth house. Mars aspects the fifth. Saturn aspects the seventh. So all these houses are now subjected to a confused, aspect of both Saturn and Mars. So on the whole, this particular combination of Mars and Saturn would have to be understood that it is more of a danger rather than being a great boon. So, if you are having Saturn and Mars, please take this remedial measure, what I said, as pray to the sun god, do Surya Namaskara every day morning, and do meditation. Keep yourself peaceful. Don't get involved with anybody verbally. It will help you a lot.
Talk
Talk less and work more. Anyway, that combination is for a job. So keep working. God bless you. Thank you very much.